So I went and looked at the news again for gorillas, just on a whim, seeing if they're putting anything else out there. And I actually saw this article posted, which I don't know if it's just impeccable timing or what. Let's just go through this, and I'm going to expose the hoax that is when people go to Africa and they pay money to go see the gorillas in the forest. It's just a hoax. They're paying money to go see fursuits in the forest. And I think it's one of those things where if you know the secret, it's much more obvious. I mean, if you're totally asleep, you might have questions, but they're just the types of questions that you easily snuff out because it's just too much to think about people lying to you about big things. So let's just get on with it. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember thinking as much about the whole, why do so many people get very up close and personal with gorillas, silverback gorillas, which are supposed to be the biggest and the meanest and the scariest, and they take these pictures that they're smiling, they don't look scared at all. There's a reason that none of these people look scared, and a little duping delight on I don't even know what gender they're going for there in the middle. There's a reason they're not scared, because they know it's just a fursuit. There's 1,000,001 studio quality images out there of gorillas, and it's because they're not wild animals. It's not hard to take a picture of a fursuit. Bwindi Impenetrable National Park. So I took a bunch of screenshots from this article. I'll link the article in the description. I'll just try to go through and point out anything where, to me, it's obvious that it's just completely made up hoax. You're walking into the forest and then seeing people in fursuits. So here they talk about the gorilla habitation experience. It's an experience. Experience is just one of those words where they like to talk about, oh, it didn't feel real, oh, it was a magical experience. Where visitors trek and spend 4 hours with semi-habituated gorillas. They like to throw out that phrase, semi-habituated. Moving on. So here comes the 33. So let's just read this so that you get kind of an idea of what's going on with this gorilla racket. Within Bwindi Impenetrable Forest are 18 gorilla families, and 18 is 6 plus 6 plus 6. They claim that these families have been habituated for gorilla tracking. They don't explain at all how that comes about. How do they pick 18 families and habituate them? Have you ever heard of anything like this in your life? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a similar scenario where you go to Africa and they're like, oh, we know of 18 different prides of lions, and today, here you'll see how this works. It's kind of crazy. These families are spread over a huge forest that covers 331 square kilometers that is divided into 4 sectors. Every single day, there are 144 gorilla permits available for booking. So every day, there's 144 people that they're able to go out there and show the gorillas to. And I guarantee to you, every single day, they see something. Unless they close it for whatever. I'm sure that there's some days where they close it, they say it's weather or whatever. It's like at Disneyland when a attraction's down. But other than that, when all things are running smoothly, there's 144 people, which 144 is a big number in the Bible. It's the 144,000. So to me, that's already just red flags, how these things operate, where every day there's people that can buy tickets and go out and see them. That's just not how wild animals work. The failure rate would be huge. There would be so many days that you would see nothing. But I guarantee to you, day after day after day after day, these people go out in the forest and they see the alleged wild gorillas every day. I've never heard of people. So I've heard of people doing this, going to Africa and paying money to go see the fursuits. They always see the fursuits. They always get pictures with them because it's set up for that to happen. Okay, there's more to Bwindi than just mountain gorilla, whatever. There's some real stuff there too. So there's a more quiet place that you can go see gorillas. It's like they have two operations. This is the big gorilla operation. They have 144 permits available. I guess they have another place. It's lesser known. They talk about volcanoes. They love mixing their things together. They'll take you on a hike to a volcano. Volcanoes are a hoax. And then they'll take you to go check out the gorillas. Gorillas are a hoax. Blah, 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 blah. There's only one gorilla family at this place. It's just a smaller operation. The other operation has a larger number of fursuits and more people. This is just a more quaint operation. It reminds me of the gorilla that they had in a mall in America. You need the suits. The suits are very expensive. They hike 3 different volcanoes. The journey. Typical of a gorilla safari in Uganda, you need a minimal of 3 days. There's a lot of threes. The long transfer. Blah, blah, blah. So I thought this was strange. They speak in strange ways. You get to see Uganda through unfiltered lenses of trying to create an experience. They are creating an experience for you. Transfer, second time saying transfer. They talk about keeping a secret. It's an experience worth a long tale, but still kept secret till now. Talking about ball Earth experiments, consider a stop at the equator where you can do some experiments where the people tell you, oh, it's because you're on a ball. So these treks are extremely expensive. It's part of the deception, I think, that if you get people to spend a lot of money on it, if you get people to invest 3 days into this thing, by the time they go see the gorillas, it's even more real because their mind has been thinking about it for 3 days. They've invested a lot of money into this thing. It reminds me of paying a lot of money. You got to pay a lot of money to go hold an animatronic for 30 seconds and get your picture taken if you go hold a koala. So it's like a sunk cost thing. Put so much money into it, put all this enormous effort to go see the gorillas. It makes the experience more real for these people. If you just showed up in the forest and they said, you know, give me $5, oh, and then they walk you 100 yards and you see the fursuits in the forest, it's not the same, doesn't have the same effect. It's much more obvious. If you make it this elaborate thing, it's more believable. They talk about lodges. They love the word transfer. Okay, this was weird that they kept talking about massages, which to me is like code word for other things. I'm sure that people are asking for what great massages they have to calm you down. Yeah. They talk a second time about recommending to have a massage. So look at this, because I just found this stuff interesting, talking about the mechanics of how this works. The volcano place where the traveler is also a code word for Masons. They'll ask, like, are you a traveling man? Stuff like that. Travelers. So travelers assemble at one point and get assigned to the gorilla families. Can you imagine this? It reminds me of like a middle school field trip, an elementary school field trip. The 144 bozos all line up. I'm sure a decent chunk of these people know about the hoax, and that makes it more fun for them. For people who know the secret, for these evil people, for me, I would never pay my money to go do something I knew was fake. But the way that these people are, it makes it like even more worth it to be able to watch their family members who don't know the secret. How do they react? To get the photos and show their photos to people. They love to do that. So look at this. The travelers assemble at one point and they get assigned to the gorilla families. Can you just imagine that? You have the 144 people. They go over to those 12. Oh, you guys are assigned to the Bakushi family. And then they go to the other people. You guys are assigned to the... It's a field trip. It's like a field trip. Whatever. The morning on the day of gorilla trekking. Another 3-hour walk. Another transfer. You'll get briefed about gorilla tracking. It is important to pay attention to the directions to follow, including tips on how you have to behave while you're with the gorillas. The journey is all about... I like it. The J is capitalized too. The capital J journey is all about encountering the mountain gorillas in their natural environment. But this is not like a walk in the zoo or sanctuary. It's a walk through a natural forest coupled with climbs and slopes through pathways and sometimes have to be made. Pathways that sometimes have to be made along the journey. Depending on where the gorillas are, you might have to plan for a walk between 3 hours to 7 hours. So, to me... Okay, first of all, how they can always guarantee that these people see the gorillas, and the weird minimal 3 hours and maximum 7 hours, to me it honestly seems like the kind of thing, it's like how annoyed they are by the group and just how much they want to toy with them. Let's say they have like a really annoying group that's being dumb, they probably make them go on crazier trails and hike for longer because they're just toying with them. The really nice people who are being nice to their guides, and they probably make the trip a lot easier and quicker. 1 hour, how can they guarantee that they get an hour with the gorillas? It's like it's a time slot. It's like there's mountain gorillas, actors, that are on a time slot. Okay, you have an hour with group A, and then you got to move locations, and then you'll be an hour with group B. That's also why the time is variable, because they don't have 12 sets of gorilla costumes. It's just that they're balancing these 12 different groups and moving, and they might have 3 or 4 different sets of gorilla costumes. I don't know, maybe less, I don't know. But to me, it's just another obvious thing where they're putting on a production for people, and that's why the time is so rigid, in that you get an hour with the gorillas. Start, stop. If this was real, some groups would get 30 seconds with the gorilla, where they all run away. Some groups would have longer time. The fact that they can guarantee an hour each time with the gorillas, do you see how fake this is? How orchestrated this is? It would be impossible to guarantee something like this if it was just wild animals. However, they're able to guarantee this type of thing with everybody because it's a production. And look at that. This is just another thing. You can tell it's fake right away. Upon approaching a family, the first beasts you will see are the babies. How can they guarantee that the first thing that you see is the babies? And that also doesn't make any sense. In a pack of wild animals, why would the babies be on the fringes and be the first things that you come upon? That's not how animal behavior works at all. And why would that always be the case? Every single group, the first beast that you'll see are the babies, because you're seeing some sort of theatrical production that they put on the same show. If you had enough money in the world to go see the gorillas day after day, just put on a little disguise every day, a fake name or whatever, you would go through the same experience day after day after day. The people that work here, they go through the same experience day after day after day, because they're putting on a production. The most thrilling of all is face-to-face encounter with the silverback. Have you ever heard of a tour group getting attacked by gorillas? Because it doesn't happen. If there was a story, it would be like few and far between stories where they make it up to make it seem like it's scary. It's the same thing with the outer space. 99.99% of the time in outer space, everybody smiles, they're flinging pizzas, they're wearing gorilla suits, they're having fun, and 0.001% of the time they have to remind people, oh, it's actually scary. It's the same thing with the gorillas. There are so many instances of everybody smiling, everybody having fun, getting piggybacks, cuddling up with them, every once in a while they'll put out a story of, oh, these things are scary. Okay, so each group, so you start out your adventure with the babies, and then in comes the silverback. It's a production. It makes you appreciate the fact that they are habituated. If it is not for habituation, you can barely stand face to face with a silverback, except for the millions of people that do it all the time. Take tons of pictures. They have these studio quality images of silverbacks to half a foot, where the photographer's right next to them constantly. Whatever. During the 1 hour, do you see how set it is? You literally, they walk you into an area. Oh, look, there's the babies. Start the stopwatch. You have 1 hour. We have another group coming in, so we got to move out of here. It's ridiculous. Take photos. They really want you to take photos, because that's the whole point, is it's a photo op for the Masonic scam. 7 meters away. They love to talk about the Macarona. Gotta tip your rangers. Eye-to-eye experience. Look, you get a certificate. This is maybe the best part. You get a certificate. I hereby certify that you saw a gorilla. It's like Wizard of Oz. You just need a certificate. That makes it real. So that's basically it. Somebody pointed out this film that came out not too long ago from South Korea. It's a film all about wearing fursuits, people wearing fursuits. It's about a zoo that they claim that they sold off their big animals, and then to save it, they got to start wearing fursuits. It's just a truth in plain sight thing, mocking people. And they have secret in the name, too. They love to bring up the fact that it's a secret. Again, I just have some off thing. I was just searching for random stuff. I thought this was strange. Empty Wade Whimsies box number 33, Gorilla. So I guess these are just like little porcelain figurines or something like this from times back. Wade is 33. The name Wade is 33. And then the box. So I guess this is something where they have a bunch of little figurines. They chose number 33 to be the gorilla in this thing, and they, of course, bright orange. That is the color of bright orange when it comes to these people. So I talked about this last time. This was big in the news. These people are disgusting, and they love infantile and sexualized humor, and so it's the same thing with, you know, how the whole Wieners laptop, like, what are the chances that the people that are in the news about sexual things on laptops, their name is Wiener? It's like, that's the level of humor that these people are at. So, of course, when it comes to their fake animals, a lot of times they do have their fake animals do sexual things. I think of the fake koalas. Koalas are not real, but they love to talk about the koala sexual stuff. They claim that koalas are just like riddled with STDs, but then you never see them move. They're stationary. So anyways, this thing, I just saw 33. Gorillas at zoo round third base 3 feet from glass. I saw multiple news agencies using this title for this gorilla psyop. And I thought this was crazy. I didn't know that they were doing this. They're claiming to be vaccinating the gorillas. And really, that should show you that it's a hoax. Would they really be going to endangered animals and injecting them with new medicines that are made for humans? Does that seem real to you? That the people that are supposed to be conserving an endangered animal, would they be giving those animals untested thing? And especially, it's untested it's only been tested on humans. Why would they be giving it to gorillas? And it's just part of the programming. They want you to think, oh, gorillas are so human-like, they can just go ahead and give them a vaccine that we get, and it's safe for humans, it's safe for the gorillas. And that's just a bunch of BS. You should know that. Have you guys noticed that inverts, so many inverts, they much prefer animals over humans. And there's no way that these people that are conserving these endangered animals, they would never allow them to give them a medicine like that, an untested new medicine for humans. I shouldn't even call it medicine. I mean, anyways, you get my point. I thought this was hilarious. Mike Tyson offered to pay Zoo to fight gorilla because Mike Tyson knows that it's a hoax. Nobody in their right mind would ever want to go wrestle a gorilla if they thought gorillas were real. However, if you know it's a big hoax, there's nothing wrong with saying things. I would say this. Well, okay. Tyson is offering to pay the Zoo to fight a gorilla. I mean, I guess I would too. I just... So, I think I'm mostly done. What did I pick this for? Oh. Would you trust a wild animal with a thick, heavy glass like that? A lot of times you can just tell. It's like, I wouldn't trust my 3-year-old doing this, and then they make gorillas do it. Gorilla to the rescue. So I picked this one because it reminds me of the novel thing we have going on right now. You know how they call what's going on right now a novel virus? It's because novel is like a work of fiction. A novel is a book. And usually when you talk about a novel, you're not referencing like a historical anything. A novel means fake, a made-up story. Gorilla to the rescue, determining a novel antimicrobial fibril structure. It's novel because gorillas are not real. So anything that anybody tells you about, oh, gorillas this, yeah, it's novel. It's something that they've just made up, like a book. I thought this was hilarious. Do you remember when this was in the news? World's most handsome gorilla driving Japanese women wild. And look at this this person's reaction. Buy a gorilla costume. Buy plane ticket to Japan. Because gorillas are just costumes. I just thought that was funny. You'll always see pictures like this. It reminds me of fake war photos. Where's the blood? 4 more gorillas slaughtered. When you look at are green colors and blue colors and black and gray is what you think of when you think of the word slaughtered. Or anybody, I believe, that has real experience with animals being killed will know that these are not animals that are being killed. And it reminds me of the fake war photos where they get 5 people, go lay down on the ground, oh, boom, you're dead, take a picture. That's clearly what's going on here. None of these animals they're not animals, they are fursuits. And the reason that you don't see any blood or anything is because they're not dead. And yeah, that's it. They're just fursuits. It reminds me of, I did a video on, they had some ridiculous story of orangutan shot 130 times or something. And you go look at the images and 0 blood, 0 anything. They don't even try half the time. It's like they know that they can get away with the most non-believable things. Yes, animals at the North Carolina Zoo got the COVID-19 vaccine. Do you believe this? It looks like a maintenance man. Hey, Bob and maintenance, come give the gorilla the shot. What? Does that seem believable? That a gorilla will just come up? Oh yeah, sure, come give me the shot. Does that seem believable? Anyways. Hope you enjoyed the video. God bless everyone.